Hello everyone, Brian from Rebel Traders here. It's Sunday, December 19th, and this is the weekend video where we take a look at what happened last week and take a look at what's going to happen possibly in the coming week. Of course, it's going to be a short trading week as we trade into the holiday weekend, but it's still going to be an interesting week based on price action from last week. So let's get down to it and take a look at where we might be going from here. So let's start out by looking at what happened last week. You can see here we did have this overhang of the COVID variant and spread, as well as the Fed getting a little more hawkish on tightening and raising rates. So that kind of rattled the markets a lot more volatility last week. Most of the indexes declined just under 2%, except for the NASDAQ, which declined about 3%. So some of the tech sector not doing as well. And areas of strength and weakness, this was the same as last week actually. Consumer staples, healthcare looked pretty good. Utilities, they continue to outperform as the safety trades. And some of the stocks that got, sectors that got hit here, energy, consumer discretionary, and of course the technology sectors all underperforming on the week. And something else of note, this 10-year Treasury note, it actually dropped. Despite the fact that Fed said they were going to be raising rates, it actually dropped to 1.4%, lowest in 2 weeks, and we'll take a look at that chart in a second. And for those of you who watch my videos, this is the part of the video where I do a quick promotion for my book on Amazon, How to Swing Trade, Rules, Routines, Strategies of a Swing Trader, that I use to make my trades. And with that said, let's take a look at what's some of the charts here. So as always, I like to start out by looking at the bonds, the Treasury notes. And you can see here I'm keeping an eye on the 2. You can see it's had a nice rounding bottom. We've been watching that for a few weeks now. Coming up, we're still quite away from the 10-year, but watching the relationship between the 2s and the 10s. And again, as they get closer together and maybe even cross, that's a bit of a precursor for possible move to recession, but we're a long way from there still. The 10-year is, again, as I mentioned, we definitely sort of broke a trend line here, despite the fact of what the Fed was saying. So this is kind of the bond market telling you maybe the economy is not as strong. And of course, concerns about the variant, and it seems like a lot of things are shutting back down again, or they're certainly increasing restrictions. So that's not good for the economy, which is probably why, again, energy didn't do as well last week. So you can kind of see we are rolling over a little bit on the interest rates. The transports, again, took a hit on Friday. And again, sort of still in this bit of a downtrend here. We did try to challenge this prior level of support, which became resistance, and now we're heading down again. I'm thinking we are maybe going to be heading lower from here. Momentum seems to be coming out of the transports. Again, kind of an indication that maybe people are expecting the economy to be a bit weaker next year. Again, on the weekly, down over 3.5%. And as the transports go, so does the Dow. And again, on a week here, we had a couple down days finish off the week. And you can see here on volume, and you'll see this throughout all of the charts. This is more of an indication of institutional buying and selling. And this is seems like a lot of institutions are in there selling some of the indexes. So we have actually lost a little area of support here on Friday. This was kind of an area I had flagged as support, and we've filled this gap here. We did come off the low of the day, but not by much. So again, things not looking very healthy. Again, the Dow trying to make a re-challenge this high, and looking like it's put in a lower high. So again, looking kind of weak. The Qs, again, we're right at an area of prior support from this recent pullback in early December, and again, be watching this. We are right at an area where there was prior resistance here. Now there's been support here, and like failure of this, and we're probably coming down into this 375 area on the Qs. Again, tried to challenge this high, and looks like we've put in a lower high. So that's, again, we're still holding this 20 moving average, which means we are still technically in an uptrend, but it's looking a little bit dicey here. And again, a fairly higher volume, relative volume on the week. The SPY, again, actually challenged this high. I think it actually closed at all-time high on this candle. And we came back down and tried to challenge the all-time high, and of course pulled back on Thursday and then had another down day Friday. We are holding this 50-day moving average, but it looks like we are settling into a bit of a trend here. And again, volume indicating institutions buying and selling. Again, looks like a lower high has been put in, but we could just be consolidating into the back half of this, or the last couple weeks of this 2021 year. The IWM, again, I mentioned 212 looked like an area of support. This certainly was the area we bounced off on Friday. We did come back up a little bit, but again, this area 212, critical area. Momentum does seem to be picking up a little bit. RSI's turning up. Stochastics are turning up, so maybe this 212 area is going to hold, but pretty critical area. I'd watch that, and if it does lose that level, you could short the IWM or play that with TZA, which is one of the stocks I day traded during the week last week during this sort of high level of volatility. IWM on the week, again, pretty clear. It's still trying to hold on to this 210 to sort of 212 area, which is where the lows are on the close. So again, volume. And the dollar, it's just the dollar's really in a range here, but it's looking, we are making a series of higher lows. So each pullback a little bit higher, and this is the level I'd be watching. It looks like it's getting ready to break out here. Of course, that won't be good for emerging markets. Won't necessarily be good for gold or silver either, some of the commodities. The VIX, not super elevated here. We did get a bit of an update, or up day on Friday, and but we are sort of stuck in this 18 to 22 range right now. And of course, if the markets sell off, we will start to break out here. So keeping an eye on volatility. And Bitcoin's right now trying to hold on to this 45,000 level, 46,000 level. And we did try to make a bit of a move there, but of course pulled back again. So we are still in a well-established downtrend. All the moving averages are we're right under the 200-day moving average. So just in watching this level here, 46,000 for a failure. Otherwise, we just may be consolidating for a while until maybe Bitcoin makes another move higher. So I think this is a bit of a time to stay a little bit defensive, stay cautious as we go into the end of the year and into 2022. There's some forces holding us up, but there's also some concerns that are kind of weighing on the market. So it's in a bit of limbo right now. And as we go into the end of the year, volume's going to dry up, especially between as we get into this shortened trading week, and then we go between Christmas and New Year's. There will be a little less volume, so markets could get pushed around a little more as well. Again, I think they're going to try to keep the market propped up, just so we get into the last part of the year and get things wrapped up, and maybe the Wall Street guys get their and women get their bonuses. But let's see. We'll see how things play out. But let's take a look at some of the stocks we're watching. You can see here Apple double top at this 180 level, and really had a nice breakout and really just got overextended. So we're getting a bit of a pullback here. But Apple, always a good stock to watch levels. So this 20 moving average, this 167, 168 area, good area for a possible bounce. Look at the volume on that. Again, institutional distribution, buying and selling. You can see here we're getting a bit of a pullback on the momentum indicators at this point. So again, probably going to be holding this 20 moving average, but value players will be in there buying, I'm sure. AMD, again, sort of same comments as Apple, so it's just a stock that's been on fire. We did get a nice rally, and now we're pulling back, and we're right into these moving averages here. So 130 looks like an area that's probably going to hold on AMD. You can see here not a lot of buying and selling, so momentum's kind of turning up again, and possibly it's going to hang in this range as well. Disney really got nailed on these earnings and came back down. I did trade it once, and it has pulled back again. And it looks like we're going to maybe hold this 145 level, 146 levels, kind of in here. And just the fact that it sold off so much could make it a good, good buy and hold trade as long as we hold on to this sort of 145 level. DraftKings is another one. It looked like we were going to put in a double bottom here. Friday actually was a pretty constructive day given the fact that the markets did sell off. And you can see here that's a bit of an anomaly. We did recapture this prior low, and maybe 2750, sort of 27 area is an area where we'll find some support. You can see momentum starting to turn back up here. This is a signal I like to see where the stochastics cross. So maybe we're going to get a bit of a bid. Now, one thing I really have noticed this week that I'm watching is the recovery trades, and DraftKings, or not the recovery, the shutdown trades, or the stocks that did well during the lockdowns, and these things have been made a comeback on Friday. So maybe DraftKings is one of them. Docu definitely is another one. This is a one I took. I had a trade on Friday or Thursday, I should say, back here. Got in when it seemed like it was strong in a weekday, and then I noticed all the other sort of lockdown trades were starting to work again. So still long Docu, and it had a really good day on Friday as well. So we've got quite a gap to fill here. I have no confidence that this gap is going to get filled, but maybe we're going to get up to sort of past 160 on this trade. I'll be happy if I get that, and I'll take some profits if we get through 160. Facebook, again, kind of, you consider this a bit of a lockdown trade as well. It's all these moving averages kind of congested in here. We may just chop sideways on Facebook, but I don't think it's going down anytime soon. Jets, I'm just going to keep an eye on. Looks like it's put in a double bottom here. Looks like this 1950 area is the area where it's maybe going to hold. Again, this is not a great stock if we're going to be locking down and closing borders again. So this is just something to keep an eye on. But that 1950 level looks interesting. LABU, again, this was a really nice, again, sort of a double bottom trade here. I do have a small number of shares in LABU, and it looks like it's getting ready to break out here. Momentum's turning up, and so maybe this is an area in healthcare and biotech where money is going to rotate into. PayPal, again, just sort of still has this 180 level of support. RBLX gaming, again, we've pulled back to this area where we gapped up to, and again, this gaming is the gaming industry did really well during the pandemic, so I would look for further strength in RBLX as well. The solar trade, alternative energy trade, again, we're right back down to key level of support. We did bounce here on Friday, so it could be an area to keep an eye on. Again, we didn't really get this build back better bill yet, going through the various regulatory approvals or Congress and the Senate. So unfortunately, but there's a lot of money in that for alternative energies, and this is a stock that could do well. Again, something to keep an eye on. Could do well if we ever do get this bill passed. And Tesla, again, I really thought 1,000 was going to hold, but now it looks like 900. This is a gap fill. Looks like 900 is an area where they'll maybe try to support it, but it really kind of surprised me when it sold off through 1,000. And XLP, I took some long on this and had a pretty bad day on Friday. Had a nice run. It really got overextended, so probably due for a pullback there. But again, lots of institutions buying and selling on that one. All right, well, let's wrap things up here. Let's see what's to watch next week. I'd be looking at support on the Qs, 384. So we moved some of these numbers down from from last week's video because we've lost areas of prior support. The SPY 458. The Dow looks like support's around 35,300. I wouldn't be too concerned about some of these resistance levels. I don't know that we're going to get any kind of mass or huge amount of buying going into the latter part of these weeks here, shortened trading weeks. IWM still remains support at 212. Right now, that Santa rally that everybody likes to talk about this time of year seems to be missing in action. I'd expect more volatility next week. Watch for continued pressure on high multiple stocks, particularly in the tech sector. Rotation looks like it's going to continue into defensives. I also believe that there may be some more upside pressure on some of these lockdown trades. Talked about a few of them already. Peloton was one I didn't talk about, but again, that's one that was catching a bounce last week. Zoom was another one. So obviously DocuSign, which I'm in now. But overall, the market internals still look a little weak. Of course, as I said, this is a shortened trading week, so there isn't much in terms of economic events. And of course, Friday is a holiday for the Christmas day. And we do have a little bit of earnings coming up next week. We've got Carnival Cruise Lines before the market open on Monday. So it'll be interesting to see what they say, especially in light of the sort of restrictions that are coming in on some travel and stuff. We've got Nike and Micron after the close on Monday, Rite Aid, General Mills, and BB, which is BlackBerry, on the Tuesday, and then it starts to get a little bit quiet. So that's it, everyone. Hope you had a good weekend, and looking forward to a bit more of a volatility this coming week. And yeah, so join us tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock. Pre-market show starts then with Jared, and then we'll start going through various movers and shakers that are happening around 8:30 with Thor and Norm, and then we'll be trading the market open at 9:30. And hope to see you at all or one of those events. Have a good rest of the weekend, everyone. Bye for now.